So it's typically Alex Jaffe who does the 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then we clap. So I don't want to step on your toes here.
It's gotta be me. Let's go. Yeah. All right. So I say 3, 2, 1, and then you two clap, or everyone claps?
Everyone claps on the 0, basically.
All right. Cool. 3, 2, 1. Just like the simulations, this is episode 186 of Insert Credit, a relentlessly paced audio program where a panel of video game experts must answer a series of 10 questions in no less than 6 minutes, or be subjected to the admonishment of a horrible buzzer. Filling in this week for Alex Jaffe, who's recovering from his second COVID shot. I'm your guest host, Alex Jaffe. This week I'm joined by Frank Cifaldi.
Hello.
Brandon Sheffield.
Hello.
And Mathew Kumar.
Hello.
So, here we are.
We
Here
are.
Alex Jaffe and the rest of the show as usual.
So
Yeah.
Alex Jaffe, the original. Actually, which one of you is older?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think it has to be me. And actually, I have one way of potentially verifying this. Does anybody know if Alex Jaffe draws? If he's a drawer?
I would say no, not particularly.
Okay. Because I remember, like, in the maybe like 2000s when I was Googling myself, like you do, and I got real mad because I found the first sign of some other Alex Jaffe game related in the wild. And it was this guy who was cataloging every Super Mario Brothers character in his own drawing style. Like, he had drawings of hundreds of Super Mario Brothers characters, and I was like, wow.
Well, the cataloging part fits,
Yeah,
but the
the
drawing part I'm not
obsessiveness
sure.
Right.
fits.
Yeah.
Right. So I never asked him, I don't know. But he seemed to be a kid at the time, so I get the sense that I'm a little bit older, but who can say? I'm like 36, roughly.
I don't know. I think that you might be in the same zone. It might be down to what month you were born. We'll see.
A face-off when he returns.
Will we actually see? Are we going to verify this? Are we following up on this, or
Let's
is this
find out later.
Is this just some white noise on a podcast and we move on with our lives?
Sorry, this was just purely to work out how to distinguish between the two of them as we talked. Like, I was thinking, like, Alex Jaffe, Alex Taffy, because two for Taffy, right? So, because I wanted to ask that normally Alex Jaffe, he's written you a script, but this time he usually does that thing where he's like, and my favorite, video game sauce is ketchup or something, right? And then everyone has to say one of those things. But this episode, he didn't do that for you. So.
Oh, terrible. He didn't even give me a little, like, blank spot for me to come up with my own.
Yeah, exactly. I felt it was really doing Alex Taffy down bad, like, that's not fair.
Yeah, that's rough. Maybe I'll just insert one in when you least expect it. So yeah, Alex is out for the day, and so he asked me to sub for him. I think we've both been vaguely aware of each other as two industry Alex Jaffes for many years, and I actually was really, really angry at his very existence for a long time.
Wow.
Right, like,
That's
yeah, because I was
strong.
like, there was this situation where, like, I was an academic back in the day, so I had, like, publications with the name Alexander Jaffe in them, very professional sounding academic name. And when I went into the, like, game industry proper, people started calling me Alex, and I, like, had, I don't know, like, a crisis of confidence around what my name should be, because I had this previous Alexander name, but I was aware of this other Alex, and then, like, I was watching, his SEO and mine, and I'm like, is this guy gonna, like, make it impossible for me to find myself on the internet? Because that's what matters in
It does.
the world. But in the end, I feel like we found this really, really beautiful coexistence, and it turns out we know a lot of the same people and stuff, and he's a very nice guy. So I've decided to let it stand, and we can both be Alex Jaffes. Anyway, we got in touch on the internet sometime last year, and then he asked me to sub for him.
And here we are.
Here we are.
I'm glad it's not going to come down to a battle to the death sort of thing.
I mean, we'll see how the show goes.
Well, I mean, if it does, at least we've still got one, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
There could be, the
double
Superman.
KO.
Yeah, the Superman Doomsday thing, where they punch each other exactly
so
right.
stupid.
Yeah.
Dumbest ending ever.
Well, I mean, I would like to see that, so, I mean, it still works out for me.
Fair enough. We'll stream it.
So yeah, who are you?
Just to give you a brief sense of who I am, because I don't think even you guys know. I am a game designer. I currently work at Riot on Project L, the fighting game. Much like friend of the show, Patrick Miller. He and I work together pretty closely. So yeah, I'm a gameplay designer on that game. And before, let's see, I've been doing that for 3.5 years. Before that, I was like more of an indie designer. I worked at Spryfox, a company I love very much, and I worked on Alpha Bear and Road Not Taken and Steambirds Alliance and even like High Grounds, Bushido Blade. Anyway, a bunch of, not Bushido Blade, excuse me, Bushido Bear. Yeah,
Very
and
confused there for a
And I
minute.
just got back there.
you don't remember
to the
indie
90s.
developer Spryfox's 90s fighting game Bushido Blade. Yeah, and so I also Like I've given some TDC talks, like this talk Cursed Problems in Game Design a couple years ago, which you can find on YouTube. And I do sort of like immersive theater work. Like I run a film noir detective agency at Burning Man and some kind of like immersive speakeasy thing in Berkeley that was shut down by the pandemic. I spend too much time homebrewing my Curse of Strahd D&D campaign. And before I was actually making games, I got my PhD in computer science at the University of Washington, and I had basically been doing sort of like a math sub-discipline of computer science, and I found out people were doing game stuff in like academic research, and so I switched over to that much more happily, and that's kind of what gave me that slow into becoming a game designer. So I did my PhD thesis on like computationally assisted game balancing.
Interesting to hear that you do a Burning Man thing, because I feel like a critical element of an Alex Jaffe is for me to have like one or two things that I deeply disagree with them on. So that
yeah, I was waiting for that.
well.
Like I knew, like I don't even know you, but I knew someone on the show would respond that way, and I think it's a totally legitimate take.
Yeah,
I accept it.
Yeah,
I mean, I just blacked out during that because I just couldn't stand to hear it, so I have no more to say.
Well, don't worry. I have all the same criticisms as everyone else, and that makes it okay.
Okay.
Does it, though?
As long as you hate yourself,
Exactly.
we're cool. All right.
Yeah, so, yeah, games and stuff.
And
I like
such.
games just like you guys.
We'll see.
Alex Jaffe,
We'll
they're just
see.
We're
like
the
us.
same. We're all the same.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
just to
right.
be clear, I never said I like games, okay? Let's not agree.
It's a better take for sure. Do you guys want to do a show
Let's
about
do a
video
show.
Let's try.
All right. Well, this week we are opening up the Dirtbag. We're answering questions submitted by subscribers to patreon.com/insertcredit. But first, we'll address a topic from Brandon if he's ready,
I'm ready.
because he is the winner of last week's episode.
Yeah, I won. And so here's what my question is. I may have asked something like this before, but I was just...
I'm pretty sure I ask the same question every time, so it's okay.
That's true. But we always have a fun time answering it.
Yeah.
I just cleaned up the crawl space under the place where I live because I found out that it's not actually dirt under there, it's concrete. It was just covered with a 3/4 of an inch of dirt and grime from many years. It was terrible cleaning that up. But anyway.
Why did you clean that?
Because I wanted to have a good storage, since it's concrete and it's mostly dry. I wanted to have a good place to like keep my video game boxes and not have them in the house or in a storage space. So it's like a good place for that sort of thing. But anyway, in so doing, I recalled that I have 98 sealed copies of TV, sports, football, and hockey for the TurboGrafx. And I bought them on a whim in like
An investment.
2005 because it was less than $1 each, including shipping, to own them. And I was like, I should just do this. And I did.
I still agree. Yeah, it's good.
And and so the question is, and I'm sure I've asked this before, but what should I do with them?
Well, how much are they worth? No.
I don't think they'll ever be worth much. I think they've gone all the way up to $20 each versus like $5 each.
So you've 20x your investment.
Yes, I have.
That's assuming that if you flood the market with these right now, they sell for $20,
Exactly.
which they would not.
You got to slow roll that.
Yeah.
There's probably like 20, 30 people out there. I could probably sell all 100 if I did it across like 5 years, but it would be tough. So I've been I had thoughts in the past of making a chainmail suit out of them. Because the hue cards, it would work well with that, or making like a chair.
What do you mean a chainmail suit out of 98 copies of a game? That's like a chainmail thong.
Maybe it should be more like chainmail jorts.
Brandon's pretty small. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not that big.
He's not that small. Unless he's
True.
shrinking when I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
And the pandemic hit us all in different ways, man.
Yeah. Yep. I got real tiny.
I think it's got to be some kind of promo stunt. Actually, I know exactly what I would do,
Okay.
but I think this only applies to me.
Yeah.
I would send them to Cody at Pink Gorilla, and he would sell them on a Twitch stream for more than they're worth in like 1 hour.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I would personally offload a giant
So
box
you're
of
saying
sealed
you could
crap.
get more than $20 a game?
Possibly. I don't know. I don't want to speak for his audience, but that guy has a stream where literally thousands of people watch him run a video game store every day. He has sold things like, hundreds of sealed copies of some licensed PSP game for like more than they're worth. So he's capable of that. So I think I would hire Cody from Pink Gorilla to offload the games.
Compelling.
I don't know if you've ever considered a life as like a criminal mastermind, but I feel like as a calling card, like at the scene of a crime, it'd be pretty awesome. Like you get to do exactly 98 crimes, and like people are going to come to, I don't know, feel very, well, probably some complex feelings about that particular game cartridge. It's not really hard to call the cartridge for TurboGrafx 16, is it?
It's a Hue card.
And that's how they'd find you, is that there would be exactly 98, right? And
someone... That's right. They look up the records.
Yeah, they would find the eBay listing or whatever that you got and get you that way.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure you've opened some.
And he wants to be found, probably.
I haven't opened any.
You haven't opened literally one of those.
No, because I already have the games opened. So
yeah, but what are you going to do with one copy of that game? You need at least 10.
So you haven't given yourself the satisfaction of opening a new TurboGrafx game?
No, I've done it in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done it in the
So
original
technically
era.
you have 99 copies of TV Sports.
That's true. That's true.
So just get one more and just call it a day?
I was trying to remember how many cans Peter Molyneux has. It's 22. Somehow I remembered it as 99 cans and was thinking if I got one more, I could have as many TurboGrafx sealed TV Sports as he has cans, but that's not how it works. Too bad.
No. I wonder if anyone's gonna get that joke. I mean, I got it.
You have 98, you said. You could get rid of 2 of them and then record a cover of 96 Tears by the Mysterians about those copies of the game. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to change the lyrics quite a lot, but maybe that would be a thing to do.
Yeah, I could call it 96 Turbos.
Yeah.
You could acquire the rights to the game, make a Switch version, and that's like your PR thing, is you send it with that.
Oh yeah, didn't Limited Run once do a sell a game like Zombie Killer or something like that with original 3DO copies of it that they just threw in because they had a bunch of them?
That sounds right. They had a Corpse Killer or something like
Corpse
that.
Killer, yeah. I think it was Corpse Killer. I'm thinking. So there you go. You just get Limited Run to reissue a super fancy box set of the game, and then just have them buy those 98 copies of you for even more than 20xing your investment. And then a bunch of people who like to buy really overpriced, ridiculous collector's editions get crap that's sitting in your house.
It's a good idea. All very compelling. Okay.
Well, I feel like we wrap that up very nicely. Thank you, Brandon. Nice question. We're going to move on to the reader, listener, etc. questions now.
Reader listeners.
Hope you're ready.
We call them the Dirtbags. Come on.
Yeah.
So they are the dirtbags. Their questions are not dirtbags.
Well, no,
dirtbags.
they are dirtbags, and their questions go in the dirtbag.
All right.
Yeah.
Taking one out of the dirtbag. The Fragrance of Dark Coffee asks, what's the best Ocean's 11 style heist in video games?
So we have to first determine whether we're talking about a video game narrative or someone who stole video games.
Well, I went video game narrative and immediately just thought Maniac Mansion is a heist game where you bounce between 3 players. So that's my answer.
There's also that game Andy Schatz did called...
Oh, yeah.
Monaco,
yeah.
Well, hang on. Isn't Monaco just like you're a single person heisting?
You can play with... We could play with 3 other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't have any friends, so I forgot.
What were you going to say, Brennan?
Oh, it's just a really quick Andy Schatz story, which I may have told before. Again, it's hard for me to remember what I've said. But it's always bothered me, and every like once a year it just comes up into my mind. He was the host of the IGF Awards one year, and he asked all of us who were working at GDC at the time, well, not all of us, he asked me and some other people, what music should he come out to?
I remember what he came out to, so I don't know if...
So I was like, you should absolutely 100% come out to that song that goes shots, 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 shots. And
everybody,
that makes total sense, because that's how first of all, it tells you how to pronounce his name, because it looks like Schatz, and everyone said Schatz forever, and he's like, no, it's Schatz. And it's a great song to come out on, like, and it's just a celebration of himself, and he didn't do it. And to this day, it bothers me. No, he didn't.
I have seen Andy Schatz come out at an award show to that Schatz song. I promise you.
Well, it was not at the IGF.
I knew the ending of this because I have seen this, and and my memory was it was when he hosted the IGF. But
we're gonna have to go to the tapes on this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Let's see if we can find evidence one way or another, because
I'm trying to find it. This is tough.
I don't know how I would know that,
because I've probably told this story about how he should, and you thought it was a good idea.
But I have never heard the song other than the time I heard it with him coming out.
That's incredible. It's a classic.
I told you I don't have any friends, so I don't have any way of hearing stuff.
I have a specific memory of him not coming out to that song and me screaming, "What?" and Megan shushing me. So Megan Scavia, who was the head of GDC at the time.
So he might have come out to that song at some other, like maybe he was, brought out to announce the winners of a particular category or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like he has come out at an award show to that music.
Okay, we'll have to figure that out later.
Do you have supporting evidence? Do you remember what song he did come out to?
No, I don't. I'm going to have to look into it. I'm going to have to look into this later. We'll get back to this. For now, we need to figure out the heist. Monaco's a good one.
Oh, I already did, so.
So for me, like, it kind of depends on exactly how we class it, right? Like, if we're talking about, are we going to do heist in a game or stolen games?
I mean, if you have a good stolen game story,
I don't. That one I'm a complete blank on. Maybe Brandon has some amazing story about.
The only one I know is that in doing some weird historical research, I found that an entire shipping container of copies of DuckTales on the NES was stolen from the docks in Oakland. So that is
nice.
That is the only video game heist I'm aware of.
And they're currently sitting on like 98 copies of DuckTales, wondering what.
I think it's more than 98, but.
Frank, didn't someone steal stuff from the Acclaim offices while you were there for the bankruptcy?
I stole some stuff.
You stole some stuff. That's right.
Ready here first. So should there be some like leak style stories here, like a heist to acquire secrets about a game?
Yeah, I guess the guy
who
hacked the Nintendo servers and leaked all that stuff. I mean, that's heisty, but like they're saying Ocean's 11 style heist.
So we need
multiple people. That's why I went Maniac Mansion, because it's like one of you distracts that guy, one of you pushes the brick.
The tension in a heist movie, right, is you see them get the gang together, you see them construct the plan and practice all the parts of it, then you see them do it, and then the whole time you're freaking about whether it's going to go wrong, and then it does go wrong, but then they act on the move and sort it out, and then they succeed in the end, right? So, I think that a heist in a game has those two aspects. The getting the gang together and the planning is as much a part of the heist as the heisting is.
Good point. Now you make me think of like Due Process or Frozen Synapse or something like that. I mean, those aren't heist games, right? They're more combat focused, but sort of like pre-planning step.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most direct example is like the only one I've really got in mind is because even like Payday, the heist and all that doesn't really follow that sort of rule, is actually Grand Theft Auto Online, which adds added heists. So you have to get your team together, which is your other players. Then you have to like do all the planning situation and like so you do little missions to get set up in that, and then you do the actual heist. And only really the first one did I ever really enjoy in Grand Theft Auto Online because like. I was always playing with randos in Grand Theft Auto Online because we weren't all stuck at home, and so most of my friends didn't play Grand Theft Auto Online when I was playing it. And that one works, right? Because you do the bank job and then you escape, it's fun. But like every single other one, just as soon as you try to do it with randos, it just falls apart immediately. So, yeah, I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online is probably the best example of that to me. It's a boring answer, though, because it's so direct.
I think that's a good one. Also, I'm impressed with your dedication to fully saying Grand Theft Auto Online every time you mention it instead of abbreviating to GTA. Interesting.
Next up, we have Yeso asking, Kazuma Kiryu of Sega's Yakuza series is the most helpful character in video games. What personal problem are you dealing with that would make for a good Yakuza side quest? And what could the Dragon of Dojima do to help you out?
He could help me move these 98 sealed TurboGrafx games by punching somebody.
That's not bad, actually. That's actually... That does feel like a Yakuza mission somehow.
How would he solve that problem, though? I'm interested.
Probably what he would do is I would impose upon him to sell these because my ailing grandmother, all my grandmothers are dead in real life, but my ailing grandmother needs money for surgery, and this is all I have to use as like collateral to some loan sharks. And then he'll like wind up getting the stuff back, wind up selling it to somebody in another place, and then wind up having to beat up the loan sharks. Or something.
Brandon, you were mentioning on a past show struggling to get family members to get vaccinated.
Oh, yes.
So I think there could be a mission where he goes to talk to, was it your mother? I forget.
It's my stepmother and my dad.
Your stepmom and your dad. He goes to talk to them and he confronts some weirdos who are telling them some weird stuff about vaccines and beats them up and then explains how vaccines work after the fact.
Yeah, and then it magically changes their mind.
Right, so he's not directly threatening the family.
No. He goes to talk to the family
a compelling argument.
And he runs into the weirdos who are telling them wrong things, and then they want to fight him.
Yeah,
that's usually his MO in those games, isn't it? He shows up somewhere to help the problem. Then some guys are like, hey, why are you trying to solve this problem? Just leave us alone. We're busy loan sharking these people or telling them fake facts. And then he's like, well, I don't want to fight these people, but I guess I'm going to have to smash this bike right down this guy's throat. And then you do that and you have a nice time.
Yeah, and then everyone's vaccinated and everything's good. Yeah. So I think that's your answer for
Smashing
you.
people with bikes is definitely the best thing you can do in a Yakuza game. And I feel like that's one of the main issues with Yakuza Like a Dragon is very little bike smashing.
Yeah, but there's thumbtacks. So
yeah, the thumbtacks are okay.
They're great.
They're
you gotta time it. You gotta time it right, and that is the most powerful thing in the game.
It's definitely one of the most powerful things in the game, for sure.
I don't have any problems. I don't know.
Wow.
No friends,
no
problems.
No problems. That's what they say. Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. Sometimes I run into a dead end researching stuff, or like I need someone to write some copy. I guess there you go. There you go. There you go. I need someone to write some copy.
This is one of those choice missions where you have to like choose the right next line.
Yeah, that's probably it's not fighting. It's some kind of mini game where he's like struggling to come up with words on like an old fashioned typewriter. And it's like sort of timing based. And so you can accidentally trigger the wrong word, not the one you intended for it to be next. And so it ends up kind of being
the blurst of times.
Yeah. It ends up being like a Mad Libs mini game to help write an article or whatever.
Yeah.
Have y'all played Tinder though? The typing non-mini game in that game is incredible. Do you know the game I'm talking about?
Nope.
Tinder is a dating sim that tries to simulate Tinder, and it like occurs over real time, and they like give you push notifications occasionally when you match and stuff. You basically assemble sentence by sentence what you want to say to one of your dates from a few options. But every time you click on one of the sentences, you just have to mash on a virtual keyboard flagrantly, and it slowly makes the words appear, and it's like the most satisfying juice I've ever experienced in a video game. You have no control over actually the buttons you press. You're just mashing on this thing, and they appear before you. I could never use another keyboard game again after seeing that. Everyone should try it.
What do they call it? Phone chat, whatever thing. Minigame. The Phone Club, I guess it is. Phone Club minigame that is in...
Zero.
Either
It's
Zero.
in Zero.
Is it in Zero? Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is an established mechanic they have, so it'd probably be something like that.
All right, Kumar, quickly, what is your problem?
I think I'm going to have to go with the same situation with kind of we were discussing with the whole COVID thing. It was probably more of an issue when I was fully unvaccinated, but like it really frustrates me that people still aren't like sticking to the 6 foot distancing and the masking. Like people just really don't pay attention to that whatsoever. And I'm a runner, so I'm always out and I'm to run straight into the street, to like avoid people for their safety as much as mine, because I don't know that can't hand something off to them and vice versa, especially if they're unmasked, right? So I'm more thinking one of those like escort missions almost, where like I'm running and you are Kazuma Kiryu and you're running around shoving people out of the way, like to keep them as far away from me as possible, just so I can just enjoy a run without thinking to myself like, why the fuck won't that person move out the way? Because I've got the right of way here and they're in my way and it's just particularly cyclists as well. I mean, I'm a cycler as well, but cyclists very often are on the pavement coming towards you, no mask on, and it's like, mate, what are you even thinking about here? Like,
they love it.
There's a pandemic on, and also like you're on a bike and the road's there, and I'm fascinated by the idea that like it doesn't matter which stage you're at, whether pedestrian, cyclist, runner, or driver. Every single other person who isn't the exact thing that you are at that point in time is the worst person on earth.
Yeah, I love how there's a hierarchy of like who's being a jerk to who in roads in general, because it's like semi-trucks are jerks to regular sized cars are jerks to cyclists are jerks to pedestrians, also skateboarders and like hoverboard or whatever you would call it, those people are also jerks to pedestrians. So pedestrians, we're just all the way at the bottom there. And then but I guess you got runners in there's extra nuance. It's fun. Everyone's got someone to be a jerk to, except for pedestrians.
The number one jerk in every single situation is BMW drivers. I don't know why it is. It's just always people in BMWs are the top of that brown pyramid.
We got Teslas too now. They'll do it also.
Shun asks, you are game designers at Nintendo and have been given the task of creating... You are, I assure you. You are game designers at Nintendo and have been given the task of creating a video game featuring musician Kanye West. Describe the game you would make.
Oh no, Kanye West.
I think Wii Music was all right. So just slap Kanye on it, call it a day.
So here's what I'm going to do, because Kanye has some troubling opinions about American politics. I'm going to put him in Major Minor's Majestic March 2, which was largely a critical failure and was the simplest Wii game that you could make. And so what I'm doing here is I'm fulfilling the least amount of requirements that I possibly can. And so it'd be like Kanye West's Majestic March. I don't know. Something bad. I would make something bad.
I just don't think I would do it. I just be like, just put me on anything else. You know, I mean, I kind of not super into this question anyway, because Kanye is a character with he's a lot of problems, right? We have his bad political opinions, and then there's the sense sort of recently that he is not well. You know, like
right,
and so it feels a bit like unfair. Because you don't want to be joking about the guy if he's actually having a really hard time, whether or not he's a millionaire and everything else, right? And at the same time, like I've talked to people who've like tried to work with Kanye, funnily enough, and whether or not how he was mentally at the time, like he's extremely controlling and difficult to work with, right? So that's why his like game about his mother who passed away never came to anything, and a whole bunch of other situations. So it's kind of like. This person is set as an impossible task. You can't. I don't think I really feel comfortable trying to be funny about it. And also, I think if I try to take it seriously, it's saying like, here's a thing that you just could not succeed at. Like, I do not believe there's a way to succeed at making a Kanye West game that would make him happy and be a thing that could even exist. You know?
I guess if I absolutely had to do it and like wanted to not offend anybody, him or anyone else included, I mean, it would be hard to not offend people just by putting his name on it. But Kanye West's Blazing Lasers, just like reissue the game and edit the title screen to say Kanye West.
Oh, he'd probably let that one go through.
Yes.
You know, he probably wouldn't push back on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was the guy who was going to call one of his albums TurboGrafx 16, right?
That's right.
And specifically, Blazing Lasers, he has said, is his favorite video game.
Yeah. So a reissue of that, like he can buy the rights to it or something from Konami or whoever owns it right now, and then just edit the title screen. I think that would be the safest bet if it's like, you know, my family will be murdered if I don't make this Kanye West game. That's what I would do.
And it has to be successful.
Well, Nintendo has really bad contracts.
Yeah, Nintendo's they're rough customers.
Is Blazing Lasers the same game as Truckston for the Genesis? It looks so similar.
No,
I was not familiar with it.
Not even close. It is.
Maybe Truckston doesn't look like I remember it.
Truckston is a Toplon game, and Blazing Lasers is it's known as Gunhead in Japan. It was a licensed game based on a movie that did come out very briefly in the US, but yeah, the license got stripped out for the US market, and it was called Blazing Lasers. But it was like, I don't know who actually made it. It was like Hudson or Compile or somebody. Let me look that up real quick.
Hudson Soft published, Compile developed.
Oh, so I was right on both counts. Looks like I'm very smart.
Well, I mean, it looks like it, but is it true?
No, it isn't.
Well, we'll move on, but I will say I'm disappointed because I wish that the year were like 2015 or something before Kanye West were so problematic. Like one of my fondest memories of feeling like I'm actually in the game industry was like at some GDC party. Like I was randomly at a table with Elizabeth Sampat and Frank Lance, and we discovered that all three of us were like absolutely obsessed with Kanye at the time. And we spent literally like 2 hours trying to pick which indie game designer would be the right person to design a video game for each of Kanye West's songs, which is actually a pretty good like sub game here, if not for the fact that Kanye is pretty canceled.
Did you write this question?
Yeah. Yeah, this is your question, I think.
It's not my question, it's Alex Jaffe's question.
No, it's not. Right. It's this Dirtbag. What was her name?
Dirtbag.
Oh, Yeso. Yeah, true.
Was it Yeso?
It's Shun.
Trap is up. That's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Trap is up.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Ravioli asks, imagine you have been sentenced to death.
Okay.
You may choose the method of your execution, but it must be an attack move performed by a video game character. Which video game attack move would you choose to send you to hell?
This is a lot easier for me to envision than making a Kanye West game, so this is good.
I mean, that's what Nintendo says when they when you say, I'm not going to make this Kanye West game, they go, okay, pick the form of your destructor and your family's destructor, and is it Mario going to jump on you or something like that, you know?
I guess I would want it to be really quick. I feel like if Scorpion rips my spine out of my body, that'll be like instant death. It happens within like 3 frames.
I think you still have like brain enough to be horrified stuff for like a few seconds. I'm thinking, you know, like in the arcade game where you press the first button, you know, instead of the other two, and like it kills everything on screen. Like I'm trying to think of one where it's
just like Dragon's Lair?
Dragon's Lair? No, that's only
yeah. I thought you were talking like you press the wrong button and then you just
No. There's 3 buttons, right? Like you got like jump and punch, and then you have like the thing that kills everything. Smart bomb.
Smart bomb. Instant kill.
There's got to be a pretty iconic smart bomb move that's just like, you know, everything just like stops existing suddenly. So find one of those. I think like I wouldn't even know what happened. Like I'd just be gone. I want my brain to instantly disappear so that I'm not suffering.
There's a shiny gem that you can get in, I think it's a gem or a ring, I'm not sure, in Ninja Spirit on the TurboGrafx. When you touch it, everyone explodes instantly. So that's one example that I can think of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a cheap answer, isn't it? But there's just so many old video games where something gets hit and it just zaps out of existence. So, like, yeah, whatever would just zap me out of existence, I'll go for that, you know? Like, I mean, I suppose maybe they were hoping that we would sort of go for something like, I want to die in this particularly grotesque way in front of a bunch of people or something like that, you know? Like, but to me, I'm not that bothered about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, once I'm dead, I'm dead. I don't need to make that much of a statement before that point.
I have an idea, though, of how to expand this a little bit, perhaps, which is when you die in Saturn Bomberman, and I think some of the other Bombermans after that, you come back, in multiplayer anyway, you come back to life as a ghost in a car, and you can just hover around the map and keep throwing bombs at things. So I think that if I were to have a more fun death, I would instantly get popped by this bomb. That would probably hurt a bit. But then I would be a ghost and I'd get a car. And that sounds okay.
And finally you'd be able to drive.
I'd be able to drive. I'd be able to throw bombs at my enemies, the people that destroyed me. So that's one. I might go with something like that. I wouldn't want to be a zombie, but I'd be a ghost in a car.
It's impressively pragmatic, all these answers. Like, you're all like, very efficient about your death, or like trying to get some quality results post-death.
Well, we're very aware of the pain of death, so not really looking forward to that particular stuff.
Been through that a few times.
Yeah,
I just wanted to I feel like having a good time. Like some of these attacks, like a lot of the stuff Spider-Man does to you in Spider-Man 2 for like PS2, probably just be real fun.
Yeah, but how fun is it when you're going to die at the end of it? Whee! I'm going through the air, but I'm going to hit... I mean, that's like saying jumping off a building to kill yourself is probably a super fun way to go, guys. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's a horrible idea.
It's very
I feel like jumping sounds terrible, but being pushed off a building doesn't sound quite as bad.
Really?
Defenestration for sure. Yeah, I don't like the moment of making that decision.
Well,
but like the actual falling is probably exciting.
No,
Okay.
What we know about people who have survived suicide attempts is that something kicks in during the fall where they don't want to fall anymore.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's horrible.
I mean, it is a spoiler alert, but in Life is Strange, the protagonist can help their sick friend die by giving them a morphine overdose. So, I mean, that's definitely a way to go as well, right? Because if you're in that situation, maybe that's what you want.
Yeah, if I'm on my deathbed, maybe I would prefer to go out with a morphine overdose and be like, oh, you know what? I'm actually feeling pretty okay. And then I'm just gone.
Hey, just get sleepy, you know?
Yeah, man. Any of those drugs that make you sleepy, when I say drugs, I mean like prescription, they terrify me. I feel like I'm going to die when something externally is making me sleepy. So it's a little... I don't like that stuff. It spooks me.
The scary thing is you really don't know what happens to your brain once you're out under those, right? I feel like there's no way to actually prove that there aren't terrible things happening to you that you then simply forget, because a lot of them have like amnesia-like properties.
Yeah.
You're right to be afraid is what I'm saying.
And I have had the experience of temporary amnesia, and it was
oh my God.
Confusing. It's confusing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Temporary amnesia, like in a movie, like that kind of amnesia? Or are you talking about you lost a little bit of time?
I'm talking about, like I lost some time, and also I lost some permanent memories.
Oh,
because I had a concussion, and a bunch of stuff was just like. So I remember most things before that. I remember in third person, and I'm not sure if they're actually real things I remember or something that like my mom told me later that happened. Weird stuff.
What a story to end on. We will be right back after a quick break, so see you soon, listeners, or something.
That question was a huge bummer, and I would just cut that completely because
we'll see.
That sucked.
Wow. I can't imagine the asker expected anyone to take it quite so seriously.
It's hard not to take death seriously. I don't know. I mean, like, that's two stinkers in a row. Kanye West, guy struggling with mental issues. And
well, it's the Dirtbag show. Come on.
Yeah. But then it's like I put my name on it.
There's nothing super depressing coming up, so should be good. Welcome back to Insert Credit. I'm your guest host, Alex Jaffe, filling in for Alex Jaffe. This week, we're rummaging through the Dirtbag with Frank Cifaldi, Brandon Sheffield, and Mathew Kumar.
Yes.
So, yes.
This
two-part question comes from Billy.
Two-part question.
Yeah, sorry, no, it's not so bad.
Let me open Notepad. Okay, I'm good.
Trustin' Billy. Each of you has 10 seconds. I am timing to name 2 video games. Go.
Super Mario Brothers. Cuthbert Goes Walkabout.
All right. Next.
Sensible World of Soccer and Mega Man 2.
Android Assault for Sega CD and Earth Defense Force 2017.
All right. Okay, I think I got all those. A couple I had not heard of, unsurprisingly. So, what we're going to do is we're going to rank those games for this next section, from best to worst.
All right.
Amazing.
I guess that's a pretty...
Cuthbert Goes Walking, I've never heard of. War of the Stalker?
Cuthbert Goes Walkabout.
Oh, how embarrassing.
I'm surprised you picked that one, Frank, instead of Cuthbert in the Cooler, which looked like a really good one.
So what is that, Frank?
I don't know.
It's like a maybe BBC Micro or ZX Spectrum like game from like the 80s, maybe Commodore 64 actually. I didn't even look, but they had these games have these amazing covers of this like dorky kind of Alfred E. Newman type kid with big glasses in a variety of situations. So there's like one where
I'm gonna link the tweet here so you can see real quick.
Yeah, the one with him like
in
the Tower
cooler.
of Doom, or sorry, the Tombs of Doom is the one I remember because he's like standing there in a tomb holding a magic lamp while a skull and a saxophone floats next to him, which I think is amazing.
Really good.
Covered in the Cooler, he's like he's in the Great Escape. You know, like he's trying to get out of a World War II prisoner of war camp. It looks incredible. Micro deal. I mean, I'm into it.
You got about 5 minutes left to rank these 6 games.
Okay.
I'm looking at Cuthbert Goes Walkabout, and it's very like it's Kicks like basically, but on a grid.
Okay.
So
I see. Okay.
I think I'm comfortable with having that. It doesn't seem like it's a bad game, but I think it's probably the worst of these.
I mean, it's definitely the worst one. I'm looking at it right now. Cuthbert Goes Walkabout for the Atari 8-bit looks absolute bobbins. So, at the bottom, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know what War of the Stalker is.
Did I even get that right?
I said Sensible World of Soccer.
Sensible World of
Stalker.
Y'all went fast. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I get so excited when we're talking about Sensible World of Soccer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
wow.
SWAS, as it's known.
People love that game.
Okay,
I love it. It's number one with a bullet. Sorry, guys.
So my Android Assault can be second worst. It's a good game, but it's just a regular shooter for Sega CD. It's a decent game, but it's fine. So
okay,
yeah, I'd say that's number 5.
Well, let's start at the top. I think it's Super Mario.
I figured we'd get to the top later because
Okay,
I think
that's fine.
All 3 of us will have a different opinion on it.
Okay, so we have to maintain our own list here. So at the bottom is currently Cuthbert Goes Walkabout.
Yeah, second to bottom is Android Assault.
Okay, the next one would be okay. What's left is Earth Defense Force 2017, Mega Man 2, Sensible World of Soccer, and Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I think Mega Man 2 is the next one.
I'm good with that.
Really? Because I don't like 2017 that much.
Which one is 2017?
Like, 2017 is the worst one of them all, isn't it?
It's still better than Mega Man 2 in my opinion.
Which one is it?
It's the 360 one. It's
yeah.
I like the PS2 one's better, so I think it's below Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2 is better than 2017.
No way.
Yeah, okay.
No way.
It is, because we just outvoted you.
I'm outvoted, but I log my complaint.
So we are between Sensible World of Soccer and Super Mario Brothers.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to win this one, but I actually would... If you were going to put me on a desert island, I would take Sensible World of Soccer over Super Mario Brothers in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even second guess it.
If I'm on a desert island, I think that I'd have more fun trying to perfect Super Mario Brothers than I would playing matches by myself in Sensible Soccer.
So good, though. It's so fun on its own.
If I were on a desert island, I would sit there grumpily thinking about how I could be playing Earth Defense Force, if not for you guys.
Earth Defense Force 2017 is the most boring one to play alone. By far. There's no Pale Wing in that version, which makes it the worst one.
No Pale Wing, it's true. But still, like, I could get dozens of hours of entertainment out of that game versus
and I could get dozens of hours of entertainment of Sensible World of Soccer. I just said that.
I know you could.
2 minutes left for your binding decision.
Okay, I think so. I definitely understand that Mathew likes that game. It was very funny when we played it together for the first time, and I was like, "How did the buttons go?" And you were like, just swearing up a storm
I was
and,
like, "Eat my
going
goal!"
on me.
I was like, "Eat my goal!"
I'll crap down your throat and tear out your eyes, and I'm like, I don't know what the buttons do.
You'll never walk alone.
So
So is it Super Mario then, Brandon?
Yeah, it's Super Mario.
Yeah, it's Super Mario.
All right,
But
so
I still am logging my complaint.
there's the list. There we go.
I mean, that's a good list. I mean, let's be honest, that's a strong list.
It's a pretty fun list. Compared to some of our recent list episodes, I think that our random selection made kind of almost a more interesting list than some others.
The list ranked in order of perfection: Super Mario Brothers, Sensible World of Soccer, Mega Man 2, Earth Defense Force 2017, Android Assault, followed by the still excellent Cuthbert Goes Walkabout.
Yeah.
Thanks guys. Good job.
It was a pretty good question, Billy. Sorry we doubted you.
Kyle in Montreal asks, if the main character of a game were to become the director of a sequel to that game, what would that game be like? For example, Doom Guy directs the next Doom, or Ichiban directs Yakuza 8.
Well, I think Cuthbert would probably free himself from the cooler
Yes.
if there was a sequel.
Well, I
to
mean,
that.
who's to say he doesn't get out of it?
Poor game design.
Surely the point of Cuthbert in the cooler is to get him out of the cooler.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't look. He might enjoy being in there.
I mean, Cuthbert's next game is Cuthbert goes back to the cooler because he liked it so much because he's got kind of sex issues.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's this series. I mean, as my tweet says, it gets pretty dark, but it makes sense that it would go that direction.
Cuthbert used to pay for it, but it didn't feel real enough, so
Yeah.
now he needs to do it for real,
Yeah, poor Cuthbert.
We've all seen it happen.
Cuthbert might go back to the Tombs of Doom. He seems like he's having a really good time there with that skeleton and saxophone.
I mean, if the Tombs of Doom had some sweet saxophone music playing the whole time, I mean, maybe you would just want to be down there, just chilling out,
Yeah, I have to say, it really looks... I know no one else can see these covers, but it really looks like Cuthbert's having a great time in all of these scenarios that he's in.
I think he's having a bad time by the time he's in the mines of hell and then in the cooler.
I think the mines. But in the cooler, he still looks... he's not quite as happy as he was before, but he's not unhappy in the cooler.
The funniest one to me is the one where he's just beat fuck out of a gorilla and he's standing on top of it like, yes, I did it! And there's a bird looking at him like, good job, Cuthbert, you beat up a gorilla. I mean...
And she has the same face as him.
That's why he deserved to go to hell and in prison. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's rough.
Anyway,
Tandy Corporation. Okay, so
that's our answer to the question. So
I feel like that's it. There's no other game.
Well, okay, so it's the protagonist of a series directs the next game in the series, right? And like, what is the game? Is that the question?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a legit answer. If you want to come up with a better answer, I
I
challenge
think
you to.
Waluigi would direct a game where he just hits a button and gets money.
What's Waluigi a protagonist in, though?
Oh, sorry, I meant Wario. I didn't mean Waluigi. Waluigi is not a protagonist of anything, unfortunately for him.
Isn't WarioWare basically Waluigi creating his next games? So, I mean, that's already been done.
Wow.
Waluigi's
I guess
not
you're right.
in. Oh, I see.
Wait, is that the meta text of WarioWare?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the WarioWare, he's like making games to make money, right? So, like, but before WarioWare, there was Wario Land, and then in WarioWare, he's like, I want to make games to make money. So technically, that did actually happen. The protagonist
this
of a
is
game
canon.
went on to make another game.
Okay.
It's canon.
Yeah.
Oops.
Mathew, I thought you were implying that like there's like this metatextual reading of WarioWare where the actual game WarioWare, not the games within WarioWare, the game WarioWare itself was made by Waluigi. Like Waluigi is a game about Wario making games for, I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I misspoke because I got confused because Brandon also has
Yeah.
confused me with which one's which, Wario or Waluigi. When, of course, they should be very easy to tell apart, but
I can't.
Yeah,
no,
one's tall.
no, that's not the case. But Wario did make all the games in WarioWare.
I want to make a suggestion
Sure.
real quick, which is that I think the name of this episode, we always title it based on something in the episode. My vote is Alex Goes Walkabout.
Yeah, all right.
Just putting that vote up.
More of a Alex in the cooler, if you ask
It
me.
depends which Alice we're talking about.
I also want to take this opportunity to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Antstream. Play your favorite games, including an intercredit number 2 game of all time, Sensible World of Soccer, right now on Antstream.
Is that
What is
a real
Antstream?
thing?
Is that a real?
actually is a thing. That's that UK classic game streaming on a website thing.
Oh, well, they should give us money now that you said
That
that.
seems like a really bad use of your data, because surely Sensible World of Soccer is probably only like 3 or 4 megabytes, right?
Yeah.
And that's like about 5 single frames.
I could give you a laundry list of why streaming old games is a bad idea, but that's a good one. That's one of them.
Yeah, you could just download it. Just download it. That's the insert credit sponsorship right there. Just download it, mate.
Yeah.
All right, what's up? What's up, Alex
All
Jaffe?
right.
What's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't let us
Yeah.
talk like this. You can't let us go wild.
Yeah, the other Alex doesn't let us talk like
You're
that.
so under time. I'm like, yikes. I really need to just firm hand. Skebump asks, what would a new Panzer Dragoon game look like in 2021?
I believe it would be on antstream.com, and it'd be streaming in your browser right now. Sign up for free at antstream.com.
I mean, they better give you money for that.
A new Panzer Dragoon game in 2022, like, there is going to be one, and it's going to be the Panzer Dragoon 2 remake by the Polish developer that bought the last one. But everyone will like it because nobody who hasn't played the original realizes that it's messed up. And most people haven't played the original. So I think the new Panzer Dragoon game in 2022 is going to be Panzer Dragoon 2 remake. Worse than the original, but everyone will still like it. And it'll get good ratings on the Metacritic.
It's a remake. They're not making like a brand new Panzer Dragoon
No,
game?
it's a remake. So I guess technically I'm not answering the question and I'm just being a jerk.
Gonna have to say
I
yes.
can say what I would like. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it would be, right? What I would like is Panzer Dragoon Saga type game, right? But the visuals, a bit almost like how Valkyria Chronicles look, which has that sketchy style. But Panzer Dragoon's done very much in the style of Moebius, the French artist in which the art is of the game. The game cover of the original Panzer Dragoon looked like that. And I just recently read the Jodorowsky book that he did, The Incal. I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense, the actual story, right?
Of course.
But the imagery is so beautiful to look at. And I think nowadays, with the quality of shaders and everything else that we have, like, to see that actual art and movement would just look incredible, and like, you know, bringing back a sort of a fan favorite type game system like Panzer Dragoon Saga would like absolutely pop, and I think that would be completely amazing, and I would like that to happen. It's not going to happen, but it might.
Yeah, there's that indie dev that's doing that game that is very much in that visual style, and unfortunately I can't remember what it's called. I never remember, but you're like on a kind of like a land speeder thing going across a landscape, and it really looks like if you did Panzer Dragoon in that style, I think it would be very nice. So the other things I'm going to add to this are no dragon transformations, because that was where they went wrong in Orda.
Agree.
Well, okay, no dragon transformations on the fly. If you want to like choose a theme for a level, that's okay. But like having to change the dragon to one of 4 different things in like one level for different contexts, it was not fun. So less of that.
But we can do like Altered Beast, where like every level it's like now you're like wolf dragon.
Yeah, and that's what Zwei does, is basically like you evolve and you don't really change that much. Or in Saga, you could change like for situations, but it wasn't in the middle of well, maybe it was, but it was different because it was turn-based. Anyway, it's been a long time since I played that. But yeah, make it fun. Make sure it's fun. That would be good. Try to get some of that in there.
The question was, what does it look like?
What does it look like?
Yeah.
Oh,
was that the question?
I wouldn't take that too literally.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, well, Matthew's right. It should look like Moebius, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the game you mentioned, which is called Sable. It's been published by Raw Fury. It's a little more reserved than I would have thought, but it's pretty close to kind of almost what I imagined. But I think that I can imagine more. This has the look without this the pencil sketch feeling, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And I think more of that sort of Valkyria Chronicles style drawn to the pencil feel is kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think it could have a little more texture.
Yeah, more texture, but maybe this would be cool.
Sable kind of already looks a little bit like Space Harrier, which I assume was an influence on Panzer Dragoon.
I don't know if Space Harrier was an influence, and I wouldn't say that Sable looks like it. But
both very true statements I made then.
But I think that it's the whole behind the character go into the screen shooting thing. I guess it could have been an influence because it is all Sega, but yeah, it was more like Futatsuki wanted to make a racing game, and he put out 3 proposals for what kind of a game to do for the Saturn. One was a racing game, one was a shooting game, and the other was something else. And the driving game and something else were already taken, and so he had to make a shooting game. and so like that was the real inspiration for making this, was like, oh, because I have to make a shooting game.
So our final answer for Panzer Dragoon is we got those cool Sable Moebius vibes.
Yeah, but a little different.
But a little different.
I don't know. How about some tilt shift effects to make things look small in this? Let's just throw that into.
Sure. Okay.
Cool.
And ray tracing.
Great. Yeah. Ray tracing. Got it.
And ray trace Mario. Shin asks, what is the most engaging video games credit sequence?
Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, actually, that's probably it.
Super Monkey Ball.
We're talking ending credits here?
Yeah. I think there was like a I don't know, couldn't you shoot the credits in Vector Man? It's not as compelling as those other two things, though. Yeah, I think those are two very good ones that I'm not sure I will be able to beat. Most credit sequences that are even a little bit engaging are the ones that, like, patch story in between, and that's still less engaging than what we're talking about.
I actually always try and make the point of just leaving the credits to run when I finish the game, which I often do. And for the most part, to be honest, even though I'm like, I will pay tribute to those people who put all this effort in, and whenever it's a AAA game, and by the time I've gotten to, like, you know, the
minute 5,
minute 5, and they're talking about Eastern European PR person, I'm a bit like, okay, sure. And I'm looking at my phone, and I always sort of think it's a bit of a shame, but like at the same time, if the game was also like, hey, still run around for these 5 minutes while this stuff is happening, I wouldn't necessarily like it anymore. So, credits are good as they are. Like, all I need at the end of every game is for Nick Fury to appear and invite them to the Avengers program, and I'm good.
Yeah. Just wait for the little end sequence, end cap there. I really like the credit sequence where they have all the enemies that you fought in the game, and they're just like running around and doing something silly. Those make me feel like the game world is bigger than it was, even though it's such a simple thing to do. So I really like those.
What about the opposite, where in Metal Slug it does that dramatic scene where it makes you see the horrors that you've just done? It makes you see the crying widow over the body of the soldier you shot.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah.
This isn't a game, but well, actually, technically, I'll get back to talking about game in a second. But I watched Mitchells vs. Machines a couple of weeks ago, and that movie's all about family and how you interact with your family. And at the end of the film, like, everyone who made it, it was them plus a picture of them with their family, and it was really, really nice to see all the people behind this movie, like, and their family. It was quite warm, and it felt like such a nice tribute to their families. And I think the same thing is in a game which I did not like very much, for pretty specific reasons. Edith Finch does the same thing at the end of that. All the team members have pictures of them with their family, and stuff like that. Like, it kind of makes it more real, the people who made the game, right? Like, to see who they are and like see how they exist in the world. So I like stuff like that when it's like, even if it's just something stupid, when it would be like, such and such, and here's something they like, or something, or when you get to Team Cats, that also makes me happy. To see the names of a bunch of cats that all these people love. Like, stuff like that is what I like.
Yeah, humanizing element.
Yeah.
Games don't really humanize their developers except for, like, one very important person, creative director, occasionally, right?
Yeah, like you beat a game and you see Jonathan Blow with a piss bag. Yeah.
You can kind of feel the presence throughout the game, honestly.
Oh, I really killed it with the Jonathan Blow.
Jonathan Blow
piss bag. Wants to talk about that?
The thing is, like, I was talking about how much I want to see images of game developers, and you just thrust an image of a game developer into my brain so forcefully that I just can't see anything else now. I'm basically blind, apart from seeing Jonathan Blow with a piss bag.
That's a real thing, right? That is what happens when you beat The Witness.
You see a picture of Jonathan Blow with a piss bag.
It's not a picture, it's a video.
Of him pissing into a bag?
No, he's walking around with a piss bag.
Like a bag full of piss?
Yeah.
What's a piss bag? Like that's the thing that we would all know.
Like a bag from, like, Walmart?
Wait, no. Am I misremembering? Wait, there was also a parody ending. Maybe it was the parody ending. Because you beat the game and you see a video from like his perspective, having like made the game and been asleep the whole time or some shit. I don't know. That's the first time I've ever cursed on this show. It's because I'm thinking of the ending of The Witness. Like that is an historic moment.
I have to share that I just looked this up, and the top result was an article from PC Gamer where the headline is, "You decide, is this bottle of Jonathan Blow's pee real?"
Moving on. Thank you, everybody. Next up, we have a question from...
Oh, it was a bottle, it wasn't a bag. I apologize, everyone. I'm sorry.
It was a bottle.
Yeah, I really was just assuming like a plastic bag from like Target or Walmart or something.
No. I was thinking like I thought it was a medical bag, like
a colostomy bag.
Colostomy bag. Yeah.
Sam B asks, "Who is the Marcel Proust of video games?"
Okay.
Proust is the most. Okay. I know that Proust wrote Swan's Way. That's as far as my knowledge goes. I had it in my possession for many years, and I did not read it. So
I don't know any of this stuff, yeah.
And that's like the first in a long series of...
Okay, French novelist.
This is such a fucking gotcha question. This guy's sitting at home waiting for this to be like, and he's going, ha, they're not going to even know who Marcel Proust is. I'm so intelligent, and they'll not. Like, again, The dirtbags are dirtbagging up really bad this week. I gotta be honest with you. I refuse this question. Marcel Proust, get fucked.
It's David Cage. Moving on.
David Cage, exactly.
Okay, we
Clearly
did
the right answer.
We did it.
All right, we're going into our lightning round. It's the dirtbag.
Yes, I
lightning
killed the question. Yes.
round. You 15 seconds total to answer each question. So we're gonna begin. Clay asks, what is the best application of the Wilhelm scream in video games?
I don't know of literally any.
Yeah, I think it's only been in ads, so probably.
I think like a hypothetical application is the way I'm imagining this. What game deserves a Wilhelm scream?
Oh,
Well,
Doom.
it's played out, mate. I don't want it.
Yeah.
No, it should be in Duke Nukem.
That's correct.
Probably
Moving
is.
on, B-Boy Billy.
Oh wait,
asks,
it's in
what
Red
game-
Dead Redemption. There you go.
Okay.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's actually
Yes.
there? Like the first
Yes,
Red Dead?
the first one.
Thank you. B-Boy Billy asks, what game is improved by playing in a language you don't understand?
Oh, a lot of them, but especially Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, I mentioned that one last show. So Beyond Good and Evil in French. There you go.
Yeah,
That's the original language, right?
yeah.
Cool. All right. Frombo Gloit asks, what open world game has the best level design?
Ooh,
Oh, 15 seconds, that's hard.
that's hard. 15 seconds. Good lord. Fallout New Vegas? Maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Uncontroversial choice.
That's a really good answer because I could talk at length about why that map is such an amazing design, but we'll get
But
back
today
to
you
that.
can't.
Yeah.
Josh Jarvis asks, what's the best game you've played only once for less than an hour, but have been meaning to get back to at some point?
I gotta remember things in 15 seconds.
Less than
I don't
an
know.
hour.
Less than an hour. The closest is Death Stranding. I did play it for like 2 hours, and then I didn't get back to it. So that's my closest answer.
Pretty good. Mine was Sunless Skies. Trevor asks, what qualities make a great rail shooter?
Panzer Dragoon.
Rails.
Yeah, Panzer Dragoon. The main things are very clear reticle, very clear difference between enemies and background, and very clear spatial awareness for the player of what background elements can hurt them. It's all about like clarity and line of sight, and also I think that homing is important.
50 seconds over.
Extremely good answers. $5 Dare asks,
I'm sticking
What?
with rails.
Yeah,
all
right.
right, great. $5 Dare asks, what are the best games to play on your paid 30-minute lunch break? Paid seems important here.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have 15 seconds, so I used to really like playing Owendan on the DS as a
yeah.
break.
Like playing what?
Owendan
Owendan.
or Elite Beat Agents.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm playing Gnosia on Switch, which is really fun. Werewolf-alike that you can get a few rounds in half an hour quite easily. So that.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Mox Bagel asks, what's your favorite game to play while listening to a podcast or audiobook?
I've never done it.
Same.
Wow. They love video games.
I have such strong memories of doing this once. I had this amazing winter where I played all the way through the original, not the original XCOM, the 2015 XCOM or whatever, the one, not XCOM 2, but the most
Enemy
recent
Unknown.
one. Enemy Unknown, and that whole time I was listening to the old Adam and Joe XFM shows, so I was listening to this thing and I was just crying, laughing while also playing this particularly good game, and it's just such a nice warm memory I have, so that.
Excellent.
All right. And the last lightning question. Tate Vulture asks, what is the best game that has nothing that would conventionally be described as violence?
Oh, nothing that's even slightly violent.
Yeah.
So no hits at all. Because
Right.
even in
No,
Animal
nothing.
Crossing, you can hit somebody with your thing.
I was trying to go like Super Monkey Ball, but you can fall off the edge and die.
Would it not be abstract like Tetris or something? Or is slamming those things to each other and having them disappear violent?
Yeah, it's a good question. It might have to be Tetris. For lack of
Sure,
for
we're
lack of
out of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Destruction of Rose might count. Anyway, this is the end of the show. Thank you so much for everybody for your participation. I'm going to give the win to Mathew for his deep resistance to participating in so many of the questions. I feel like your values really shone through.
Look, but I want to win because I want to eventually be on this show, not on a dirtbag hour, because the dirtbag hour is the dirt. It's just death. It's just horrible. Get better listeners.
Wow.
I think they're pretty good.
I think they're very good.
I think they're pretty good questions. You're gonna get voted off the island by the dirtbags, Mathew.
I'm fine. I don't care.
So
I don't want to be in this island.
They probably like to see that.
I didn't get to have Sensible World of Soccer on my island, so I only have stupid Super Mario Brothers, so I want off.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, conveniently, Mathew, you have to come up with a question for next week's episode.
It's gonna be so
good
bad.
luck
It's
with
gonna be terrible. It's gonna be very vague and very confusing, and also kind of a bummer. And so, like, you'll not know what to do, and it'll drag on.
And it's going to involve Proust. What is the bell jar of video games?
No. I have a brief data point from earlier, which is that the Wilhelm scream is used in the Deadpool video game because, of course, it is.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Fair enough.
So I guess now is the time for everyone to give recommendations for how people should spend their time over the next week while they wait patiently for another episode.
Yeah. So when I listened to last week's show, I was actually really moved by what your guest Kazuma Hashimoto had to say about boycotting games such as Genshin Impact over the censorship of references to Hong Kong. And I think in that spirit, I think it would be really important for me to say on this show, like this week of all weeks, that I stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people. And I'd really like to, my recommendation to the listeners is that to learn more about the situation, they could read decolonizepalestine.com, has a lot of really great information. And I think it would be really important if they try to engage with the anti-apartheid movement by visiting websites such as bdsmovement.net. And if they have the funds, I also recommend donating to the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund because there is an immediate need.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a itch bundle that's coming up pretty soon. It hasn't been named yet, but we're going to be a part of it. Necrosoft is going to be a part of it. So yeah, when that comes up, you should definitely give to that. It's in the same spirit as the bundle for racial justice. So keep an eye out for that.
Right on.
Cool. Thanks for the recommendations. I also recommend that if you're listening to the show on any platform where you can subscribe to or review podcasts, that you engage with us in that way to keep the algorithms pushing upwards and forwards. I should really say engage with them because I'm not like one of you guys. You can also go to patreon.com/insertcredit where you can become a patron to submit your own questions, get our regular episodes one day early.
One day early.
And even access monthly bonus episodes and other exclusive content. You can also join us on forums.insertcredit.com and follow us on Twitter for our own personal updates and projects. The show is at Insert Credit. I'm at Blinkety. Frank is at Frank Cifaldi. Brandon is at Necrosofty. And Mathew is at Mathew Kumar. The show is produced by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. Once more, I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And I'm Mathew Kumar.
You sure are. And your game has now been saved.
We did it.
We
Good
did
job,
it.
everyone.
Okay.
Woof!
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you did great.
That was weird. Thanks. You did great.
I kind of forgot that this might have been a challenge for you because you were doing it. You're fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. No, it was just it wasn't so much hard as it was I had no idea if I was doing it or not.
Oh,
so I just went with it.
I feel like you just need to have a slightly sterner hand with us, to be honest, because
Yeah,
Jackie
totally.
is like, nope, we're moving on. And we just kind of. It was real substitute teacher energy. Do you know that way? Where it's like
Right.
substitute teacher comes in,
Right,
the kids are
totally.
like, fuck this, we're going to do whatever we feel like.
I feel like the kids deserve a substitute teacher episode.
I feel a bit bad for saying that the fans are so bad, the listeners are so
I
bad.
said it over and over. I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
Honestly, educated listeners are good people. They just have bad questions. Good people, bad questions.
You've said it pretty much every time you've been on the show. So